Bitch, I'm a monster. Swiss coat archer. Kit Kat noose with the bow. Stop it.
What's up?
What's up?
It's Polo Lewis.
It is.
My phone is still making noises. Hello.
Hi.
What's up? I'm Julian,
Hello, I'm F.
and we are Polo Lewis.
We are indeed.
Yeah. So this is the podcast where we talk about everything to do with Polo Lewis and just like stuff that's going on in our general brains. Because we are Polo Lewis. So if we just let you know who we are, then you'll know who he is.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
a great, just a great intro. Welcome to the podcast.
What up? It's F.
I'm Julian.
And we are Polo Lewis.
Yeah, and we were just talking about influence,
Yeah,
which was the thing we were talking about.
we're talking about. I have a crazy simulation theory. I don't know if it's that crazy. But we'll cut this part
I
out.
don't know if we're getting into that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
probably not. We were talking about
About simulation theory. 27 minutes.
No, we can't. We can't. Also, we're not that channel right now.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, we're not going to start getting into some weird black pill stuff. We are here to talk about this animated avatar that we created,
Yes.
Polo Lewis.
We say that every episode, I think. But
Yeah.
if you're just tuning in now,
Yeah.
we made an animated character. He's kind of 20-ish, 20 years
20-ish,
old.
yeah.
20 years old.
20 years old.
And he just moved to Toronto with dreams of pursuing a music career. So that's his story, and this is our story. Yeah. So,
How it affects.
Yeah.
We should do like an episode once we have the comic books out or the
Yeah.
videos out where we
Yeah.
talk about the influence behind it.
ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll write that down.
We recorded it.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
We'll remember it.
Today we were talking about logistics.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the influence, or do we want to talk about logistics? What we're working on today.
Today for us, we were talking about logistics as far as recording this podcast, in fact. And
How do you plan out your shit?
yeah, this is a boring topic for you to listen to,
Yeah.
because we would have already figured all of this stuff out and managed to get it onto the internet before
Ideally.
any of this conversation would have managed to get to your ears. But
Like, I think it's somewhat relevant.
it is relevant because it's a podcast that we're currently doing, that you're currently listening to.
Yeah. So, like, how we were just talking about, okay, if we want to film a bunch of these podcasts, or if really we want to do anything, like, we've learned logistics through just trial and error of releasing music, whether in our own projects,
Yeah.
mixing, or the Polo project,
Or like
mixing.
watching other people do stuff, or
Yeah.
like having friends who have done stuff and been like, how did you do that? Yeah.
And-
so yeah, like it's just a combination of
Yeah.
whatever 10 plus years of trying to do this.
So it's like you have a thing. You have sentences.
I feel like lots of musicians stop at the part where they have the music finished. Like you get a song or,
Yeah.
or a body of work, right? And you mix it and you master it.
Right.
And that costs an amount of money. And then I think a lot of millennial and younger musicians,
Right.
have this thing where they just, that's it. Like they're like, I'm done now.
Yeah.
I did the thing where I made the thing. But that's actually not the end. It's like the beginning. Like all of that work should be like before
Right.
the next step. And
Right.
like it took us a while to figure this out, is what we're saying. It was we spent a while doing the same thing as everybody else, which is just okay, we made shiny tapes and we were like,
This is it.
we're
Goodbye, everybody.
hit producers. Like we gotta go talk to a
Out
label.
here.
What's the deal? We literally thought,
What up, Warner?
no marketing, no anything. We were just gonna go get ourselves like signed or
What
something.
up, Sony?
Yeah, we're like, let's go. But
604.
I think, yeah, but I think that unless you have a really solid pitch together and like maybe a couple music videos shot and some stuff like that, like you can't really start going to a label.
No.
Re-releases. You have to do something first. And
Yeah.
I think even if you're gonna pitch to a label like a brand new artist, you probably want to do one video, like one track and one video, just to prove that you can do that. Make sure it gets like 20,000 streams in the first month or so.
Sure.
Make sure it gets a good number of plays on YouTube when it drops as a video. And then that's, I'd say, a solid, at least for like a local artist or like a nationwide artist, if you're not trying to be international, that's like a solid entry point, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so as much. So okay, you as a drummer, you were kind of part of the cog, in a lot of ways. So artist comes to you fully finished production. They're like, here's your drum part. This is what you're going to be playing today. And then 6 months later, someone texts you that the song is out, right?
Or the artist that I play with, like I know, I see on their Instagram that like a song is coming out. They release the song. I hear the song, and then like at the next show, they're like, oh yeah, we're playing that new song. And I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that you released that. That's cool. Yeah. So it's always been like external.
Okay.
But I've been witness to the process many times.
Cool.
I've seen it from many angles, as well as been in projects that have tried to release stuff or done the thing where we're like, okay, we got an album recorded and then we got it mastered.
Yeah.
Now what? You know what I mean?
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Every time.
Yeah.
It surprises us and we get scared every time.
Okay, so go on.
Yeah, no, I've just been on both sides of the coin a few times.
Right.
And so it has taught me a few things, but mostly it's taught me that it's more about what you do after you have the finished pieces of like content and what are you doing to market your YouTube video? What are you doing to make sure people hear the Spotify song? Like, how are you getting on those playlists? Are you getting blogs to write about you?
But it's like it also, I'd say it's very much like your point of reference, right? So if like you were someone, say you weren't a drummer at all, say you went to school for marketing, you went to whatever business school, you learned how to market stuff, and then you were like, you know what, like a Lil Dicky type, right? You learned how to do music and stand up and then strategize that way, right?
Yeah.
Then you're actually learning the opposite of what we're learning, which is like, how do you make a piece of music that resonates with people, and how do you make music, right? Because you're starting, it's like both like passing each other on the way. You're like, oh, you need to learn that, and I need to learn that. Cool. Anyways, that was just a thought that I figured I'd contribute.
No, that's a good thought. No, I think it's a constant thing that everyone's iterating on what a release looks like for them, and what works for your project or a rapper or whoever is not the same strategy that's going to work for us. Yeah. And so that's the real reason that the music industry is so tricky, is because it's literally a case-by-case situation, right?
It's like, where are you starting
my
from?
Marketing solutions aren't going to work for you.
Yeah.
I can tell you them.
Right.
But it's not gonna
exactly.
It's not going to help your project if you just implement my marketing solutions in your situation. Like, just delete Polo Lewis from the copy that I typed, and then fucking put your project. Like, it doesn't make sense, right?
So what are some of the things that you've learned going from the more musician side of things to now being the other part of this project and having to be like, all right, cool, I have to be in the driver's seat now? Yeah. What were some of the things what are some of the key takeaways that you've learned?
I mean,
or the big changes, or I don't know.
I think we've tried a few things, and I think the major thing of this last year has just been like, it's just going to be money, fortunately. Right. But that's what everyone talks about in the interviews. Right. In the early stages. Like, you see early interviews of people that they're like, yeah, we got a great team together. They always say the same 5 things. Right. We got a great team together. Yeah. We fucking got great songs. This is all code. These are all code. We've been working on.
Everyone's got a team.
Yeah. Everyone's got a team.
For a while, it was my dad.
But yeah, like we got a great team, and we're fucking investing in ourselves or investing in our future. Yeah. And they always code it like that. But what they're really saying is they're spending money promoting their project and on the marketing side of things, right? Because it's fine if you play music, and it's fine if your music is good. It's actually great if all of that stuff is yeah, you need that. But that's only half of the puzzle, because you now need to tell people about it. The more people that you tell about it, and the better your music is when you tell those people about it, then the more of those people you're going to retain as like regular followers or listeners or people interested in what you're doing. So yeah, I think that's my major takeaway, is it just comes down to just being willing to invest in yourself and your project, right? Regardless of where that money comes from. And as a starving artist, often it's going to come from your little scrimped pennies that you have, like fucking whatever lying around. If you happen to win the lottery or get an inheritance settlement or something, like that, like maybe you can get $20,000 together in one place easier than other people, or like maybe your parents have money and you can just borrow like fucking 15K, like whatever the situation is, right? You're gonna need to find some money or save some money by yourself by working 3 jobs, like Daniel Caesar. I bring up Daniel Caesar all the fucking time. So I saw this really cool video that was shared to me by our buddy, and it was around the idea of figuring out, this is a humongous tangent, so we can go back to the main thing if we want, but figuring out what lifestyle is comfortable for you as an artist, if that's something that you want to pursue. I think, that's a huge part of beginning with the end in mind. Yeah. Like having a clear goal of what success looks like for you as an artist. Yeah, I think is hugely important to even starting to try to move anywhere in the music industry, right? Like you want to know if it's LA and you want to do the whole Hollywood thing and be famous as fuck, like it's going to be a lot of money. Yeah. So you're going to have to find someone who has a lot of money, or get yourself a lot of money. It costs. In order to start playing that game.
Definitely easier, I think, if you start with a lot of money, but there is still
Rich Kid, who's like a pretty like underground Canadian artist. Yeah. I think people know about him, but he's not huge. He spends $2,500 every time he makes a video. So this is the sort of example that I'm talking about, and we'll throw a Rich Kid video up on the screen for 2 seconds. But this is the level of kind of production value that is like baseline for him, in terms of it's okay, we're hiring a crew with a guy with a good camera, and we're doing like the thing.
You're setting a standard for yourself, and then you're trying to upkeep that.
So minimum spend $2,500 per video. And that's like his little rule that he has for himself. And I think that's like a good like benchmark for trying to be at least as successful as Rich Kid. Right. So if we're talking about $2,500 on a video, we're talking something that looks like this. Right. If we're talking about $50,000 on a video, then we're talking about something bigger, like a Tyga video or a SZA. Or something. Right. Those guys spend $250,000 sometimes. Like I'm sure the Kiss Me More video was like probably $250,000, maybe even $500,000 type of situation.
Yeah, but you're playing at that level. Yeah. Right? And if you have one really good song and then you put that out and then you don't really have a follow-up song, I'm sure you can think of an artist, they call them one-hit wonders. Yeah. Because it's like their best song, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's due to the fact that maybe the song just kicked everything's ass, but
sometimes they're like a weird band that none of their stuff sounds like that, and they did a weird experiment one day where they made a joke song, and that joke song is the one that like hit, and then they don't know like how to do that again.
I often think of, and these guys aren't one-hit wonders, but I often think about Glass Animals a lot, where it's like a lot of their stuff does not sound like Heat Waves,
like that one song.
And they were like, hey, it's time to get the bag. This is the track. Fucking Ryan Tedder or Max Martin or whoever came in and was just like, this is how to write a pop song.
Or they just did it themselves. Yeah. Like, I'm sure everyone's a good student of the radio. Like, it's on the radio, so it's pretty easily accessible.
But yeah, it's coming in and deciding, but that feels like it was more of a conscious choice, right? Like, it's not like Glass Animals weren't doing well. Right. Like, they had their fan base.
In England, yes. Yeah. But in North America. No, yeah. So you need that crossover. Yeah. Crossover hit.
We very much have a sound. If we want to get into England, we got to do ballads.
Drill.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Drill.
Yeah, exactly. Coming down south in
The beat's low key fire.
How you not see me in the gallery? Man, them at the top, going off crazy. Got your girl in the back and she going off crazy.
Hey, you always need onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
If you can get onomatopoeia in your drill track.
Yeah.
Like keep up.
Yeah.
Or some.
Pop, pop,
Yeah. If you can get that in like your hook.
Lubid became.
So I said to the man, "No, get it so cool."
Lubid literally became Big Shaq for a few years. I shit you not. Yeah, he would just call me up and be like, "Scrap boom." And I'd be like, "All right, cool."
No, just hang up.
Yeah.
We have this meme where DJ Khaled. It's not a meme. It's an inside joke that we made up.
Yeah.
Calm down. We have this bit where DJ Khaled shows up, or no, DJ Khaled just calls people to tell them that they played themselves. That's our little. We think it'd be funny if DJ Khaled got little notifications on his phone and called people to just tell them that they played themselves. So if you happen to play yourself, your phone rings. It's literally just DJ Khaled. And he's like,
"What up, Jennifer? In HR, guess what? You played yourself."
boop. That's the end of that was it. And then you're like, I think DJ Khaled called me today.
You get that. You should get that. Not a sponsor. That video cameo.
Oh yeah.
Just get people to.
You played yourself.
Play yourself.
Yeah. We could buy like cameos from DJ Khaled. We could buy like 25 cameos from DJ Khaled and then send them to everybody. Just telling them they played that. Okay, we have to figure out people who played themselves.
Who played themselves
Recently, and then like Julian Maxwell. She probably doesn't have a phone right now, but.
So logistics.
So about logistics, how do we get all the way over here? Sometimes we just start walking in a direction and then we look around and we're like, we walked really far from the building that we came from.
Popeyes,
we were talking about logistics, but initially we were talking about influence.
Tofu nuggets.
Influence was the thing that we were talking about before we started the podcast. Yeah, because we were talking about society and like the ability to shape society just like by means of people knowing who you are or like what your tastes are and like agreeing with or disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
Like the Kardashian effect.
Yeah.
So
there's this idea where it's just if you have enough, like you have enough influence, you have enough money, you kind of can steer the market in a way, right?
Of course.
Pretty fucking crazy. Because you think about that at scale, and it's just, there's a lot of...
Yeah, because some people have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Generations.
Yeah.
Hundreds years. There are old families.
There are older families.
that have very old money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I think
generational wealth.
I think what we were saying before is everyone's trying to do the same things, but like the playing field is like widely skewed. I think the best analogy for this that I've ever heard is that everyone is in the same storm,
right?
But everyone's in different boats.
Right.
So like some people have cruise ships, and fucking butlers, and like dinner service, and like a ballroom. And some people are in a little sailboat. Some people are in a fucking inflatable dinghy.
Some people get the yacht for a few years.
Well, some people make it up to the yacht.
Yeah.
But then they end up swimming.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's like when you get money, when you get power, when you get the ability to influence, right? Because you have these little pockets.
So I think what often happens is you get some money.
Yeah.
And so with some money, you like think that you have a lot of money, and you, instead of doing the stuff that you should do when you have some money, put that money to work to get more money.
Yeah.
You like spend the money.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I have $7 million. Like it'll be fun.
Depreciating assets.
Yeah, you spend it on like boats and like dumb stuff, cars.
Yeah.
A house, and then you like crash the car. And your boat, it gets not maintained over for 5 years, and like it's an old boat when you bought it, so now it's shit. And
it's like longevity, man. Longevity is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
J. Cole had a whole phase where he was just talking about like rappers, like the young rappers that were like the Zoomers in that era of Tekashi and Axe and Trippy.
J. Cole is a great example of a rapper who does nothing with his money.
Yeah.
Other than like positive, like effective stuff. right? Like the man lives in a house with like 7 other rappers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no reason. I think so still. Yeah.
Oh.
There's no reason for him to do that. Like financially.
Yeah.
Right. He could definitely have a fucking mansion and a studio.
Yeah.
Compound thing, but it's not interested in that.
Yeah. It's like acquiring generational wealth. I don't know, from how I understand it, it takes like those smart decisions, not as impulsive purchases, and being like, hey, you know, what can I do with what I have right now?
I think saving money is like a foreign concept to a lot of people our age. I was chatting. Some people are good at it, but some people are like, oh, what do you mean? Like, I get money and then I spend all of the money that I get.
I was chatting with someone and they were like, the more money, like, kind of what happens is the more money you acquire, the more money you spend.
Yep. No, yeah, for sure. You learn to spend whatever you earn.
Yeah. And that's like that just happens naturally. And unless you actually are like, hey, you know what? I don't need to do these 10 things that are costing me an extra $2,000 a month or $500 a month or whatever. I'm actually going to do this instead. Yep. I think like a good example of that is like cooking at home versus like delivery dash kind of stuff.
Right. So we're talking about finance stuff. We're talking about finance stuff because we're talking about influence.
Exactly.
And in order to get influence, you need the finance stuff. And this whole conversation started in like a large loop because we were talking about investing in yourself and fucking ponying up thousands of dollars with a question mark on the like return.
When are you gonna get that back?
And like a question mark on the effectiveness of these moves. You got to find the right marketing people. You got to find the right playlist people, right? And it might take a couple tries.
Yeah.
Of wasting $1,000 at a time to be like, oh, that actually wasn't the best move, or oh, that one worked okay, but it wasn't like gangbusters or whatever.
This is where hiring out. If you go into these giant consulting firms or these giant labels, and I'm not using this example as being like, hey, sign with a label, because I don't necessarily think that's the right answer.
I would argue that the label is probably using a lot of these outsourcing services themselves, but they're just charging you for it. The one point that I guess I want to make here is that like you have to learn as you go when you do it the independent route. Yeah. Or you got to learn with the people I had some friends who are in marketing, who are in graphic design, who can point you in directions. Because let's be honest, the internet's fucking confusing. As an artist, the most important thing you can do is go hang out with people who have other jobs. Like do anything else for a living and learn what like their brain is like and how they think about things. Exactly. Because if you explain the way that you're running your project or trying to sell your shirts or whatever to someone who like knows anything about marketing or like has set up their own business or anything like that, they're gonna have so many sick ideas for you in terms of how you can. Their brain is already functioning. They've already done this like a bunch. They're going to school. So definitely use the resources you have around you as much as you can. Don't use people. If you have people, take them out for a coffee and ask them some questions. Write down some notes and then look into the stuff that they tell you about on your own time. This is how you leapfrog, right? Especially in the world where, you know, everything's available to you. You can be like, how do I learn this skill? And someone that you have that is a friend that might already know that skill might be able to be like, fuck all those videos. You want this. So you don't have to YouTube University everything in your project. No. I think the main conclusion that we're trying to get towards is like, you should use the resources available to you to try to minimize the amount that you're like fucking running around like a chicken with your head cut off, right? Yeah. But use it to leapfrog, I think, is a big But anyways. So we talked about just being an independent artist and like investing in yourself and your project. And we talked about influence as a result of doing those things. Yeah, I think, the way that you get to the place where, you know, all of your fans are wearing your outfit that you had on in your fucking music video is by making sure so many fucking people see that music video that everybody who start wearing you as Halloween costumes hears about you. Yeah. The Bieber, was it the Bieber couple thing? Yeah. She's got like the red dress. He's just like hoodieing it. I don't want to be here. Oh man.
I always liked the Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande one.
Oh yeah, that's a good costume.
That one feels a bit more intentional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always like that. Look that photo up if you haven't seen it. It's funny.
It's funny.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It's been half an hour if it hasn't been 45 minutes. That's not how we're ending it.
It has been less than half an hour.
It's been an hour if it hasn't been 3.5.
Wow.
It's been time if it hasn't.
Yeah, okay.
When do people stop saying shan't?
What? Shan't?
Yeah, I was writing this down earlier.
I feel like
we shan't do that.
I feel like British people probably still say that.
We shan't.
No, shan't.
No, I shan't. I shall not.
That's a contraction of
Shan't.
shan't. Anyways, thank you so much
Thank you.
for listening to us ramble about just whatever the hell we're thinking about today.
Thanks for supporting human content made by humans.
That's right.
For humans.
You can see us.
Or
we're
anybody
We're here.
else.
We're actual people.
I'm gonna do this. That's how you know I'm not a robot.
I don't know. I don't know if any of this proves that we're not
There's no intention behind any of that.
AI.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can prove that at this point.
No, we can't. We genuinely cannot. And is that something that someone would say if they were AI?
Wow.
And that, what I just said, is that something that
Wow,
an AI
that's
would
okay.
say?
All right, we're gonna sign off from this podcast. It's been great.
It's been real nice.
Thank you so much for watching.
Hasta la pasta.
We are Polo Lewis.
And we are going to do other things with our day.
See you later.
Thank you for your time.
Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.